All right. So, everybody, welcome. Frech and Chanukah to everybody. And we have a tremendous schus to start the first candle of Chanukah, to start Terech HaFalef, which starts with, the Torah itself says on the pasuk, when you light up the candles, this is aloha which is negeh to the menorah Beis Hamikdash. It's aloha that is negeh to Ner Shabbos. It's also aloha that is negeh to Ner Chanukah. So it's punkt, coming on the right time. Rabbeinu is going to shine to us a whole new understanding of what candles are and what lighting up the candles are and what aloha is. So first of all, let's just go in the very beginning. With this Torah goes on the 4th chapter of Safra Netzniusa, which is the sefer that Yaakov Avinu wrote. As we know, Avram Avinu wrote Sefer Yetzirah, and Yaakov Avinu wrote Sefer Netzniusa, which is the deepest secrets of Kabbalah. So we have 5 chapters of Sefer Netzniusa, and we had already 4 prokim of it. 3 prokim, and now we have the 4th parak. Parke via the Sefer Netzniusa in Pashas Tuma and the Zohar. So it says, Atiko Tamir Vesosim, that in Olam HaAtzilis, as we said, there are 5 primordial personas, which is spiritual structures. We said one is called Arichanpin, the second one is called, which means the great face. The other one is called Abba, which is father. The second one is called Ima, which is mother. The third one is called Zer Anpin, which is called the small face, which means a constricted face. It's like a reflection of the great face, but this is constricted. The Nukma, that's the female, the feminine persona. We mentioned the last Torah Chav. We talked about the 9 rectifications, which are the spiritual chasadim that come from Arich Anpin, from the great face, the beard of Kaviyachal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which has 13 rectifications, outpouring of 13 midos of compassion, of favor, of rachamim. From them, 9 of those go down to Zer Anpin, the lower level. Now, that persona, that parts of Arich Anpin, of the great face, is also called Atiko. It's called Atiko. Atiko means ancient. Atiko also means something which is separated, something which is differentiated. That's because we're talking about the sphere, talking about a level which is way beyond our pay grade. It's way beyond. Even Abba is beyond us. We can the highest that we can possibly have some kind of a tfisa is in Ima, is in Bina. Chochma, we can only understand the Chochma as it reflects itself in the Bina, in the mother. If we were to talk in a language, in lay language, we would say that the Abba is the initial assumption, the axiom, the data, the raw data. As you could, it's a given. I mean, there's no reasonings why the sounds of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, why those are the sounds. But that's it. This is a given. This is the data. This is the raw material. There's no, and um, we can understand it in the level of Bina, which the Bina, as we said, is, let's say, the musical theory. So when the sounds are already cloaked in the musical theory, we can get to the das, we can write songs, we can compose things, and so forth and so on. However, beyond, above the Abba, above the is, the data, I mean, you can say that the Abba is a level of what? There's already an isness, there's already something, and it's a level of what is there. This is the Chokhmah. Bina is how how is it how in what kind of manifestation is the word presence. So the what is the basic sounds. The how do we hear them? It's within a cloak of a logical systems called the Bina. Okay. And everything else follows afterwards. Is there Ampin, and is who we are, the way we perceive it, the way we know it, and that's the intellect and the way it goes into the Malchus. The question is, what is beyond that? What is above? What is above the Chokhmah, the Abba? The answer is the promise. Now, what is a promise? A promise is a very ethereal state. There's nothing there yet. There's only potential. So we say that when we're coming here to learn the Torah, so I have here a parish of what the Torah is, and B'ezrat Hashem, I will learn whatever it is here. So over here now we're talking about specifically what's the Torah, Chaf Aleph, Atika Kadisha, v'chule v'chule. The level of Atika of this particular shir is the link that I sent you to come into the shir. How is the shir already present in the link? Because it is, but it's on a very ethereal level. It's a very spiritual level. It's a possibility. It exists in the level of possibility. It doesn't exist in the level of actuality. When you're already here, okay, there's already there. There's the Teref Rabbeinu. There's the Chokhmah. That we're talking about it. That's the Bina. But beforehand, it's just an invitation. Azamin Lemevi, as the Rebbe says in Torah Vav. That level, how do we see the Torah in the link that I sent you? This is beyond us. This is the level of Atiko. It includes everything, but we have no idea yet of how it's going to be. So he says the Atik is totally concealed. In other words, the light of Atik is cloaked in all the four personas that under him. That's why there's no revelation of the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in it. However, as we will learn on that persona of Zer Anpin is revealed from its face and it's covered from behind. That's why it has already revelations of Shemesh Havaya. There are 7 names of Havaya in the 10 spheres. And we will see, B'ezrat Hashem, as the Torah goes, all the explanations of what does it mean, that it is revealed from face of it, and it's concealed in the back of it. And what's the reason? What's the face? What's the back? And so forth and so on. But Bezat Hashem will still have a long way to this. So he says, Atika Tamir V'Satim, the level of Atiko is totally sealed, totally mysterious, totally unknown. And he says, Zeir de Anpin, however, the level of Zeir Anpin, it has a duality in that it is Galia, Velo is Galia. It is revealed and it is not revealed. So basically what we mean is the level of Atiko is totally secret. There's nothing, there's no evidence, it's not manifested in any way. There's no Shemesh, there's no revelation of the names of Hashem Havaya in it. Zeir Anpin is already the level where there is expression, there is a revelation, but the revelation only comes from the Panim and not from Achar. We'll explain what is this revelation and why it's dafka revealed from the face and not from the back. As we'll see, the back is where it can have, the klippus can have unique, but instead of getting things too complicated, let's just go ahead and start. Let's just a second. Let's put the text up and we can start. Let's share the screen. Hold on. Okay. All right. Here we go. Likutey Moharan, Chafalef, Atiko, Tamir V'Satim. This is the Pirkei Aviyad Safra Desniusa. This is the fourth parak of Safra Desniusa. At Atiko, Tamir V'Satim, the level of Atiko is totally differentiated and totally opaque. The level of Zeir Anpin, however, is it's dual. Part of it is revealed and part of it is concealed. And later on, Bezat Hashem, as we proceed in the Torah, Bezat Hashem, we will explain what it means for this particular Torah. We're starting today, Sif Aleph. Ksiv. It is said, Achov v'kedem tzartani. You have created me in dual modes. Achor, which means backwards. V'kedem means forward. So David HaMelech says to Kadosh Baruch Hu, you have created me backwards and forwards. So what does it mean? So Al Pi Pshat, Chazal say that David HaMelech is referring to the fact that Adam Arishon initially was created one side male and one side female until they were later separated. And when they were separated, then there was men and woman separated. But before they were one thing. So that's the meaning. You have created me forwards and backwards. In other words, in the backwards there was one persona, and in the forward there was another persona, which later were split into two. But Rabbeinu takes it on a very different level. When he talks about the mental capacity of people. When it says ki yesh sechel, there is a mental capacity. There is intelligence. She'odo masig oisoi aledei akdomos rabbis. That the person can attain it through a lot of preambles. Meaning as follows. The regular intellect of a person is based, anything that a person understands al pi derech hateva in this world is based on the initial uh, data and understanding that is perceived by the five senses: what a person sees, what a person hears, what a person can smell, what he can taste, and what he can touch. Now, this particular mode of intelligence, this intelligence system, as it were, is always based on building blocks that I got before. A person is not capable of understanding and fathoming something that he hasn't experienced something of that ilk, something of that kind already before. There's a famous Maisa from the Rambam. The Rambam came to Egypt and he was found, out by the world at large that he was a great doctor. He introduced, the next quantum leap in medical knowledge, and Saladin, who was the king of Egypt at the time, has appointed him to be his doctor. And as you understand, Saladin was no fool. He understood exactly who he has business with. And the Rambam was exceedingly important by him. Needless to say, we can see it from the world of politicians today, with everybody, vying for the favor of the ruler. And here's this one person who is not making himself, but is considered very close. He's very close to the Melech, let alone the fact that he's also a Jew. So there's already two strikes against him. So they were attempting to find a third strike and to apply the coup de grace to bring the Rambam down. So came up the question, they figured, that there came a philosophical question. The question was, can a person who is blind from birth, can he see? Can he be cured? The Rambam said he cannot be cured. And they said that it can be cured. So they found, now there's a good chance of bringing him down. So what did they do? They went in, they searched in Egypt, and they found a person who was blind. And they, when they find the person blind, that they treated him for a long time, and they brought him to a state, they cured him. And they convened a meeting by the king and saying to the king, now we're going to unmask, using a corona-related idiom, we're going to unmask the Rambam. And you'll see that you thought it was such a big chacham. Well, guess what? You got another thing coming. And they brought that particular person, and they told the Melech that within a few weeks, whatever it is, they're going to finish curing him. Then they're going to bring him to the palace. They're going to reveal, they're going to take the bandages of his eyes, and they're going to reveal him to the Melech. So at Hashem, they'll found that a blind man can be cured and can see. And this is what they did. They wrote to the Melech, the Rambam was there, all the Chachamim were there, and he walked in, with his walking stick, and his eyes were covered, and he came in and he found a place, and they set him down, And they took the bandages off his eyes and they opened his eyes and they looked around and says, I can see. Ah, there's a big kash on the Rambam. You can see. So the Melech then, the Rambam says, what do you say? You see here a blind person walk into the room and, they cured him. Now he can see. So the Rambam took a handkerchief from his pocket and asked the blind man, do you see what I'm holding in my hand? So he said, yes. He says, what color is that handkerchief that I'm holding in my hand? So the person said, it's red. The Rambam says, how do you know that it is red? You have never seen the color red. How do you know that this is red? So once they found out what's going on, turns out that that person was never blind, but he was a very good actor. He would act blind, like a blind man. But there's no way that he could know what red is without having seen before. Rambam says anybody who has seen and became blind can be cured, but anybody that is blind from birth cannot be cured. Okay. So that means that every single thing that you learn, any kind of advancement, intellectual advancement of that mode of intellect is always based on a preamblum, which we call Hagdamas. There's a basis, a basic foundation, a principle that you learn, and you're building upon that principle, which means everything that you learn, everything new that you learn is always based on something that came before it. That's why this mode of intellect, that's the natural way of this world, of learning in this world, is called backwards. Let's take a look at the text again. And he says, this is called Achar. However, says Rabbeinu Zal, he says, Veyesh sechel, however, there is an intelligence. Shebala Adam, bli shum akdama. It comes to a person without any preamble, without any prior basis or principle that you already know or experienced. In other words, a person is learning, is perceiving a whole system, a complete system of knowledge, of understanding, without anything in his experience leading to it. It's brand new. It says, Yesh secha shebala od nebelu shum akdoma. Ela l'dei shefa eloki. It comes in through a heavenly bestowment. Kadosh Baruch Hu shines on him. It flows down. V'zeh mechuna m'shem kedem. This kind of intellect, this kind of intelligence is called panim. It's called forward. It's not based on anything that came before it. So here we have two separate modes of intelligence. Rabbi revealed, you should know, there is the natural way of understanding things. That's the way the Olam understands things. That's the way a Goy understands things. That's the way even Jews naturally understand things, unless they do what Rabbeinu says afterwards. And this is called Achar. Then there is another Seichel which the world doesn't know about. It's called Kedem, it's called forward. It's a way of gaining knowledge and understanding which is totally has nothing to do with everything you knew before. It's brand new. So this is the first basis of principle Rabbeinu teaches in this term. In order to understand what's going on, Rabbeinu now lays another foundation. The first one, there were two types of intelligence, the natural one and the one which is beyond nature. It's not without building blocks. The second akdoma that Rabbeinu says, he says, V'islavus alev, and the excitement of the heart, noilad michmas tnus hasecha. It is born because of a movement, a rapid movement of the intellect. When it says because kitevat nos, because it is the nature of movements, shimoritchom, it's the nature of all the movement, physical, emotional, intellectual, that breeds heat. It produces heat. When it says v'lefi mehiras tnuas haseichel, commensurately with the speed of the movement of the intellect, ken moritchom alev. This is how much heat it is producing in the heart. Okay, so to understand that, we can take an example, a joke. Okay, what is a joke? A joke is something that includes two opposites. The one thing negates the first thing negates the second thing. And when you get it all together, it's funny. Like you're saying, when I was young, I believed that anybody can become president. When I grew up, I realized that it was true. So you're ready to say that, like, when I grew up, I realized that no, not everybody can. So the joke is that, so a person that gets the whole thing in one shot starts laughing. So then there's a person who doesn't get the joke. So everybody's laughing and he says, excuse me, what is so funny? So they explain to him, the first part is when he was young, he said that he thought that everybody is, can become a president. So you would expect that, however, when I grow up, you expect to hear that it was not true. Lo and behold, he says, but when I grew up, I realized it was true. So when you explain to that, the contradiction between what is expected and what actually the joke is, producing the funny effect. That person says, okay, so what part do you start laughing? Because, as I said, when you explain a joke, you get more. You know more, but you get less. Why? Because you didn't get the whole thing in one shot. When you get the whole joke, the beginning, and the surprise at the end when you get it in one shot, it becomes exciting. It can be funny. Or if you are of great intellect, you see Chacham, you see Tzaddikim that are old people, they can hardly move. And you see them that they are fired up. Why are they fired up? Because they get a whole seichel in one shot. And that fires them up. So Rabbeinu says in Sif Gimel, Gimel that I just produced, Nimtza Shef Eloki. So when a person is on the second mode, Shasechel nishpa le'odom mihirus, when the intelligence, the understanding comes to a person quickly, in a rush, in one shot. There's no need to use any preamble. You're not laboriously building the comprehension one step up the other, but you get the whole thing. Is now I get it. That speed, that fact that you get the whole thing in one shot, that causes the heart to be always excited. You don't have to get yourself excited in Avodas Hashem. Means when where we are in Avodas Hashem, we have to build the asagas that we have, and we're building one step at a time. So what happens is when we learn something new, we just know something new, but it doesn't get us excited. It doesn't fire us up. Just, so we have to work very, very hard at it until we actually get excited about it. So we can sit and we can learn and we can work at it, but that doesn't produce excitement. The fact that I know does not make me excited. Why not? I'm learning Torah, I'm learning Gemara, I'm learning Likutey Moharan, I'm learning Shulchan Aruch. Why am I not excited? Why is my heart, asleep? Why doesn't it really give me, any kind of rush, any kind of excitement? The reason is because I'm learning it b'sechel, which is pchinas ochar, backwards. It's a natural sechel. I learned this, and then I learned that, and then I learned this, and then I learned that. Okay, beseder. So by the time I hear the end of the joke, I don't understand what's so funny. I'm not excited. I'm not moved. In order to be moved, you need the aspect of Shefa Eloki. You need to get what you get by a divine bounty. That's what you need to get. Now, what I want to actually touch over here is just that the fact that we need to understand that this is not a black and white situation. We're saying it many, many times. This is not a black and white situation. There are many different grades of gray over here, which means we are always a certain combination of a lot of achar, a lot of intelligence, which is based on that which I learned before, and a little bit of a brand new kind of intelligence, which is the way that you get when you get the whole thing. The reason why many times we cannot tell the difference is because the Pchinas Ochar, in conjunction with something we'll learn a little bit more, how you get the Pchinas Kedem, every once in a while produces a Pchinas Kedem. Intelligence Pchinas forward. You can sit and learn, break your head in the Gemara, and you're trying to understand Pshat, and you're working very hard, you're breaking your teeth. So when you learn Gemara Be'iyun, and you really break your head on it, and you don't get it, and you don't get it, and you don't get it, and suddenly, boom, you get it. And that's an incredibly exciting feeling. Because what happens is that as long as you didn't get it, you didn't get it at all. The whole thing looked like a bunch of letters stuck together, a bunch of words stuck together. And you said, what on earth is the Gemara talking about? What Tessa is talking about? What the Rishonim are talking about? What the Achronim are talking about? When you get it, bam, suddenly everything shines out. Why? Because the whole thing comes to you in one shot. Enochinami, you had to work for it. But that which you worked, you have to understand that which you worked, all the effort that you put in, that is not the thing that got you the comprehension. That's what we say, Yagata umatzasa tamin. If you worked hard, if you toiled, and you have found, believe. It says, Lo yagata umatzasa al tamin. You didn't work hard and you found, don't believe. Yagata v'lo matzasa al tamin. If you worked hard and you didn't find, don't believe. This is a very difficult statement by Chazal, because we know there are three things that come be'hesech hadas. When you're not paying attention, suddenly they come your way. So this is one of them is a scorpion, and the other one of the three is a found. A find, you find something, you found something. You can go in the street looking for finds, and you won't find anything. You find something when you're not looking for it. In other words, the finding is not a function of the search. Metzia is basic chadas. So how can Chazal says Yagato matzaso tamin? If you worked hard and you found, believe. What? Why? So that's one of the things that we learn, and we learn B'ezrat Hashem in the Torah, that getting the sechel pchinas kedem is predicated on effort. But what kind of effort is it predicated on? It is not the kind of effort that we think. And we will learn Mitzvah Hashem weiter on what it is that Rabbeinu means here. Just 1 second. Let me just share it with you. Hold on. So now comes the question, how do you get the Shefa Eloki? How do you approach? How do you broach? How do you get an entrance? What's the portal to get from the natural intelligence that any guy from Timbuktu can get, and get to a Shefa Eloki, which is not based on any kind of preambles before. The Rabbeinu explains. To get that kind of bechina of godly shefa, it is not possible to come to it. Ela sheikadesh es piv v'chotmoi v'eino v'ozno. You have to sanctify your mouth and your nose and your eyes and your ears. The Zohar Kodesh says that every person has the menorah in his head. The Zohar says menorah daresha. The menorah is your head, your face. You have the 7 candelabras, the 7 candles of the candelabra, which are the 2 ears and the 2 eyes and the 2 nostrils and the mouth. And the face, that's the candelabra. You have 3 from one side, 3 from the other side, and the 7. And it says, Menor Daresho, and the oil is the brain, the mind. So it says, it's not possible to come to Shefa Eloki unless you sanctify your mouth and your nose and your eyes and your ears, and they vehen me'ir lo shefa lo kianal. They shine to you that, they bring to you that shefa eloki. That's very interesting, because what we know that it's basically uh, your eyes don't see. It's your mind that sees. It's not your nose that smells. It's your mind that smells. The same thing with the ears. It's not the ears that hear. It's not the mouth that speaks. Everything is the mind. Everything is the brain. So we know that they are the tools. They are the shikingles. They are the messengers of the mind. But Rabbeinu says, he reveals a different thing. He says this is a two-way street. You know, as Newton says, every action has an equal reaction. That vehen hen me'ir la shefa eloki. You would understand that the person sees through his eyes, but it's the mind that sees. It's not the mind. You know, the eyes and the ears and the nose and the mouth are secondary. They're messengers. They're tools for the mind. But here Rabbeinu says, no, it also works the other way. It means your eyes influence your brain, your nose influences the brain, your ears influences the brain, and your mouth influences the brain. In other words, he says not only this, when we talk about regular seeing, the regular senses, the regular way of learning, and the chinami, when it comes to ocham, when it comes to backwards, you know, it is when it comes to backwards, then yeah, you know, the all these organs are subordinate to the mind. But in order to get to the second level, to the next level of intellect, here we're talking about the whole. Now it's those physical organs that influences the mind. And we say, how can it be? How can it possibly be that the physical eyes and ears and nose and mouth will bring the mind, which is much more spiritual, which is much more, you know, ephemeral and ethereal than the gashmisdiko sight and smell and sound? And how can they bring the mind to a whole new level of understanding, of learning things which the brain is not capable of naturally? It's a huge question. And so now comes, we will answer that B'ezrat Hashem. And now Rabbeinu says, okay, but so he says, you're supposed to sanctify your nose and your mouth and your eyes and your ears. How do you do this? We take him to the mikveh. How do you do this? So Rabbeinu says, that's the way it works. He says the first thing, how do you sanctify the mouth? You keep yourself from saying any kind of lie out of your mouth. Let's talk about it for a minute. What does it mean to say the truth? It means to say the truth. First of all, you know, the Rabbi Sor Salanter explains that to say the truth means not to say anything. What does a lie mean? It means don't say anything out of your mouth that your heart doesn't testifies that it's the absolute truth. As far as you can tell. That's what the truth is. They said that once a person came to a Rav and told him, what should I do that I have to actually tell a lie every single evening. He says, what do you mean you have to tell a lie every single evening? He says, look, I'm a businessman. Every evening on my I'm saying, Kiem chayenu, v'orach yameinu, uvaim negi yom ha'malayla. And it's not the truth. I'm a businessman. I don't sit and learn Torah. How can I say that? So the Rav told him, that's pshat of saying the truth. Did you come in and say, listen, I'm looking for the truth. I want to say the truth. And I'm forced to say a lie every single evening because that's what the tefillah says in the siddur. That is the meaning of saying the truth. How can I say that? You want to learn. You know that this is really the way you're supposed to be, but you're not holding that yet. And it troubles you. That means that you're saying the truth. You want to be that. You know that this is really the mode of life. It has to do with everything that you see about yourself, the way that you live, and the way that you feel about yourself, the way that you speak. We go to shul. When we go to shul, what do we do? What do we do when we go to shul? Am I just saying the words in the siddur? That means I'm lying. That's not truth. What am I doing? Am I coming to shul and I'm saying, "Whoa, I'm calling out from the mountaintops," and Hodu Hashem kiu b'shmo diu ba'amim eliloisov shiu lo zamu lo sir b'chol eliloisov. Is that what I'm doing? Not so much. So what do I do? What do I do? The question is, do I want to say it in such a way? The fact that I have a Yetzer Hara that prevents me, that when I actually come to shul and I actually open the siddur, it throws me off. I become sucked into Yetzer Hara just to get it over with. And I want to just say the words because it's written in the siddur. But this is really not what I want to do. We've spoken about it quite a few times. Now that you have a struggle and you're struggling, that means that you are saying the truth. Even though Lemaisa, a person right next to you, might be saying the words, 120 miles per hour, and not even interested in saying, listen, I got it. Either I want to eat and I have to daven before I eat, which is also a good madrega. Just a little. I'm somebody who I belong to the society that the people go to the shul in the morning and they put tefillin on. They put talis and tefillin on. That's what they do. So this is what I do. I belong to this particular club. Every club has its funny business. The pomp and circumstance and the clothes that they wear, or whatever it is, and I belong there. One day I'm going to start, to change direction means that I have to actually fight City Hall, and my wife is going to scream at me, or whatever it is. Forget about it. I'm just going to go to shul. I'm going to say the words, and we'll get it over with and finished. Both people are saying that tefillah without actually meaning the words. One is saying the truth, and one is saying a lie. What's the difference? The difference is that one wants to say be'emes. One is not really interested in saying the emes. So the question is, why is the one who wants to say be'emes, but Lamaisa doesn't, is considered to saying the truth? And the one who doesn't even care about it is saying the same words with the same kind of kavana. He is called it that, he's lying. He is, he's not sanctifying his mouth. They're both saying it without kavana. Why is this one sanctifying his mouth, the other is not? The answer is that the thing that sanctifies the mouth is the struggle. It's not the fact that you are able to say all the words with perfect kavanah. Arizal says that when a person is able to daven the whole Shmoneh Esrei without a single machshava zara, without any external thought, it should be a siman for that particular person that all his sins were atoned, that he is clean. Shamayim, they forgave everything. That means, he might have some things coming, but he doesn't reach his cognizance, his conscious. He's not constantly thinking about these things. The things may try to come in, but he does it straight. It's from beginning to end, he's thinking straight without any kind of stray thoughts. But regular person is not like that. Regular person, all those stray thoughts that come into our head, Rabbeinu says, these are blemishes that we carry from the past. Rabbeinu explains that Noisa Oven, what is Noisa Oven? Noisa Oven means that when a person does an Aveira, that Aveira creates a prosecuting an angel. That angel goes up to Shemaim. And it tells the Kodesh Baruch Hu, that person, you see this guy, he made me, he created me. Now he wants to come back to you and say, okay, listen, you are my father, feed me. So I don't have chayes to feed me, I'll take from yours. What happens when your child is hungry and you don't have enough food? So he takes your food. What do you think? The one who gives life gives food, gives sustenance. But when the Avera comes to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and he says, that person created me and he wants to come back down to get sustenance from you, because Baruch Hu knows that you're not capable of it, because Baruch Hu says, okay, you stay with me. He says to the avenging angel, you stay with me. And because Baruch Hu feeds the avenging angel from the Kedusha. Which is, like feeding the terrorists in jail. It's until such time when a person is busy in Dawasha B'Kedusha, a person is busy with Kedusha, he's davening, he's eating, he's doing a mitzvah, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, okay, this is an opportunity. And he sends that Avera back to you. Now that avenging angel, what is it? An angel of the thought. So it comes to you as a stray thought. When it comes to you as a stray thought, now that you're busy, you're doing something holy, the avenging angel, his job is to distract you. If you resist it, and you just disregard it, and you keep on doing what you need to do, this is how you actually rectify the damage that was done. Even a tikkun is p'chinas tshuva. That's what Rabbeinu says. He says, tshuva samishka mamish. When a person did epson avera, and the thought of such an avera come to his head, if he disregards it, it says tshuva samishkal. It's a tshuva that, one thing actually corrects the other. So to finish the particular subject and the share for tonight, what we have learned is that it's not, the Kedusha doesn't mean that there is no presence of adversity. Ado befakert. It is dealing with adversity because of the principle that actually causes you using the physical tool, the mouth, to fix the mind. You're confronting the challenge. You want to say something not true. You want to just go through the davening without paying any attention. You want to say shtickle shanar. You want to say something that should, you want to say some words that will hurt somebody. And you hold yourself back. That struggle may happen on the physical plane, but it's really something that is affecting your mind. It's a struggle of the mind using the tool, using the mouth, using the physical mouth. And this is how you actually bring your mind to a different level. It's affecting your mouth, it's affecting your mind. We will, B'ezrat Hashem, stop here. And B'ezrat Hashem, next week, B'ezrat Hashem, we will continue. So now I have a message, and that is that this coming Motzei Shabbos, being that I have to take my wife to the airport, she's going to visit her mother, B'ezrat Hashem, we will not have a shir in Sichas Haran. If you want, we can have the shir of Sichas Haran on Sunday night. So let me just put everybody on here. You can unmute yourself and tell me whether this is something that you are interested in. Just 1 second. Gallery, here's everybody. Okay. What do you say regarding Sunday night? Are you interested in having a share Sunday night?
Yeah, oh, you didn't hear me. Yeah, that's fine for me.
Rabbi Grundman. Huh? What is that happen? No.
Huh? מה?
יום ראשון. במקום מוצאי שבס, מתאים לך? סיכס הר"ן, יום ראשון. מוצאי שבס, אני צריך להסיר את מאמין הזה תעופה, אז אין שיעור. What about you, Hillel? Is Sunday okay for you? Hillel, Rabbi Rosenfeld, you have to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. You have to, no, unmute yourself.
Here I am.
Is Sunday night good for you?
Yeah, sure.
Instead of Motzei Shabbos?
It's fine.
Fine. Rabbi Mo.
Rabbi Grenzman, it's Avraham Weiss. I don't know if you can see me or hear me. I tuned into the wrong shir tonight. I was putting in the Monday meeting ID, so I finally realized the mistake I made. So I only had the last 10 minutes, but I'm glad I got at least 10 minutes. But Sunday, I'm not sure. It's my granddaughter's birthday, so I'm not sure. But if I can, I'll try to, but I can't commit myself. Okay,
no problem. By the way, the shir tonight will be available on both Telegram and YouTube. If you're interested, I can send you a link and you'll be able to watch it at your leisure.
That might be nice, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Niv.
Okay. Thank you. Whatever.
No problem.
Was anything like the last 10 minutes? It was great. Okay, thanks.
I don't know. I have no idea. I wasn't here when it was taking place. Niv. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. If you're talking to me.
No, Mr. Rabbi Niv Mo. Whatever it is, not available. I'll send him a link, and Mitzvah Shem. Hopefully he can come. All right.